Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, and welcome to day 3 of the Get Your Voice Together challenge. I'm so excited you're here. Okay, so let's just take a minute to check in. Now, we've had some homework assignments. We've covered a lot of ground over the past 3 days. Day 1, we talked about your mindset, right? We talked about setting goals. And we had some homework that involved imagining yourself as a singer, because you are a singer, right? So we have to imagine ourselves as that glorious singer that we are becoming. So hopefully you've been doing that in the morning and in the evening for 5 minutes. And hopefully you've been doing the warm-ups. That was day 1, right? And yesterday, the homework was to download the Think Up app. So hopefully you did that. And record yourself an affirmation in your own voice, whatever's relevant to you. And then hopefully you listened to that sometime yesterday or maybe this morning while you were getting ready. And your homework was also to practice the belting techniques that we learned yesterday. So if you haven't done any of these things, I highly recommend over the next week you start incorporating them into your schedule. If you have done all of these things or even some of these things, I'm going to give you a virtual high five. Yes, you are making progress. And like we said, day 1, baby steps towards the goal. Maybe you did one of those things. Maybe you just warmed up every day. That's more than you were doing before this challenge. So I think that's a huge achievement. See if you can incorporate 1 or 2 other things that we talked about over the last 3 days. As long as you're doing something. So don't beat yourself up if you didn't do everything or if you didn't do anything. Just start today. Make a commitment to yourself. I'm going to just take one of these things on. I'm going to warm up every day. And that will start to affect change in your singing, in your beliefs about yourself. Okay? So take that on. Take something on. And I also noticed that some of you are not in the Facebook group, so make sure you should have gotten an email from me about that. If you didn't, and if you're not in the Facebook group, please send me an email and I will make sure that you get in there. Okay, great. So yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about belting and singing with power. And I want to open up the conversation today. I know I asked if anyone would like to have coaching live with me right now during today's session, and I haven't heard back from anyone yet. So if you feel like during today's session, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to jump in, just put a little note in the chat and I will bring you on as a panelist and we will do some coaching one-on-one in front of the group. Okay, so that is still open to you. If at any point today you would like to do that, I'm going to ask again in a little while. Just drop a note in the chat and I will bring you on and we'll do some one-on-one coaching. And the one-on-one coaching is going to benefit whoever's being coached, obviously, because they're getting help with their specific issue or problem. It's also going to benefit the rest of the group because we get to watch while you learn. We're learning, right? Because a lot of things that are going on with your voice are probably going on with other people's voices that are tuned in right now. So don't be scared. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Just drop that in the chat and I'll be happy to coach you one-on-one. Okay? All right, so let's get into today's lesson. So a lot of times we focus so much on being perfect vocally. And believe me, I want to be perfect vocally. That is definitely something when I hear my voice and it's not perfect, I'm like, oh, God, I wish it were perfect. Okay, so that's unachievable, but of course we strive for that. We strive to have a certain sound, a certain tone. But there's things that are going to be just as important, if not even more important than having the perfect tone and having the perfect pitch. And you'll find this a lot on Broadway. You'll find this a lot in theater. You'll find this in some famous pop singers who don't have the perfect tone, but for some reason we love their music, right? It's not because they're perfect. There's something else, isn't there, that really touches you. It touches you in a way that you can't explain. So how do we get that for ourselves as a singer? Because while we're working on technique and getting that perfect sound, we also want to still be effective as a singer and be able to sing live and have people engage with us, right? So we're going to talk about that today. I call that the 5 W's, and I did not coin this phrase. I was coached from the moment I stepped foot in New York City, which was many years ago now. I had a coach, and he was coaching me for auditions. And he said, "You need the 5 W's." And I was like, "What are the 5 W's?" So we're going to talk about those today. And that's all you have to remember to really trigger yourself, like, oh, yes, I'm missing the 5 W's. If you're thinking, why am I not connecting? Why am I not feeling this song? Why do I feel like I sound boring? These are all symptoms of not having the 5 W's. Boring sound, not connecting with people, okay? Maybe not having any fun. That could be another symptom of the not having the 5 W's. And this really helps also when you're practicing alone, because a lot of times as singers, we are singing to a wall, right? We're singing in a room by ourselves to a wall practicing, and that can get really boring, especially if you're singing the same song over and over. Because let's face it, when you're practicing, we want to get that song so deep in our muscle memory that nothing can distract us while we're singing and have us lose the words, right? Or lose our notes. Like I play guitar and sing at the same time. So I really have to ingrain that song in my body so that if someone yells across the room in a bar, or if, the coffee grinder goes on while you're singing, or whatever happens, there's lights flashing in your face, you're still going to be able to sing that song because it's just in your body. You don't have to think anymore. So that means practicing that song hundreds of times, which can get really old, right? And that's where a lot of people are like, oh, man, I'm just so done with practicing. I can't sing that song anymore. 5 W's. We're going to start with W number 1. Who? Who are you singing to? Okay. Now, when I heard this, I was like, what do you mean, who am I singing to? What do you even mean by that? Okay, so we are going to pick an imaginary or real person, and we're going to place them in front of us. If you're singing to a crowd, like say you're singing in an auditorium where you can't see people's faces, you might just place them right in the back of the auditorium, right above people's heads. Even if you can see, even if the lights are up, you're going to place that person right above people's heads. That is who you're speaking to. Now, this person you want to feel some kind of a connection to. So if I were singing a love song, I might pick my husband. Or if I wasn't feeling that loving, when I was singing that song, I might pick a fictional character, someone from a movie that maybe I like a lot. So I happen to like Benedict Cumberbatch. Is that his name? I hope I'm saying that right. I happen to think he's very cute. So I might pick him. I might put him in the back of the audience and sing this love song to him. Now, he's not just a wax figure in the back. He's actually going to be responding to me while I sing to him. This is going to make it much more interesting. If you're singing to a wall or to no one, it's hard to connect with that, right? But if you're singing to someone imagined and they are responding to what you're saying, suddenly the whole thing comes to life, right? It's kind of like a scene if you've ever done any acting, it's just like building a scene, building a character. You want to have a partner. Whether you're doing a monologue or a scene, you're always going to be speaking to a partner, not just a blank wall. Same concept here. So we really want to be specific in who we pick. We're going to name that person, okay? When we're writing all this out, we're going to pick a specific person. We're going to put them either right above people's heads or depending on where, if you're auditioning for something, right over the auditors' heads, somewhere so it looks like you might be making eye contact, but you're right above them, okay? That's the who. Very, very, very important. And if your who isn't working for you, then change your who. Just change them out until you find somebody that works. Okay. And sometimes this can be a group of people. I would say if you're going to do that, make it like 3 people, somebody here, somebody here, somebody here, just to keep yourself concise. Somebody here, somebody here, somebody here. Okay, 3 very specific people. For now, though, let's just keep it to 1. We're going to practice this. Okay? And like I said, if they're not working, swap them out. Or maybe after you've done this for a while with a certain person, you're like, oh, they're just not doing it for me anymore. Benedict Cumberbatch just, I don't know what he did, but it's not doing it for me anymore. So I might swap him out with somebody else. Okay, so you're going to write down your who. I like physical writing. I think it just solidifies things in your brain more, but some people type everything out. That's great. As long as you have it down on paper. And I say that because we might imagine things and we're like, yeah, I got my who. But there's something about putting it on paper that really locks it into your brain. Okay, so write it down or type it out. Who? Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay. What? That's the next W. What just happened? So there's a reason why we're spurred into song, especially in musicals, right? But of course in pop music too. There's a reason why this song exists. So we want to figure out what happened just before this. And for some reason, the song Let It Be popped into my head. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary said to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, right? So why would you be singing a song like that? We don't want to just sing words that we memorized, right? That's something we want to get out of the habit of doing. We want to have them mean something. So maybe let's just say you got in a car accident. God forbid. You got in a car accident and you got a cast on your leg and you're supposed to play a rugby game. I don't know. I'm making this up. Play a rugby game and now you have to sit it out and you're watching from the stands and your team's like, man, I wish you could be in it with us. And you're like, it's okay. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary said to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. It is what it is. That takes on a different meaning than just singing or saying those words. Or maybe it's something else. That's probably not the greatest example, but that just, came to me. But you want to find yourself in a situation where you would say those words. So we want to go a few seconds or minutes before this song starts and think about what just happened to inspire me to sing. Okay. So we also want to write this down. What just happened? Write it out. Have fun with it. Be creative. This is your chance to really, get creative with the song and set yourself up to have fun while practicing, while performing. Okay. So take your time with this and really use your imagination. That's the what. Where are you? And I don't want you to think, okay, I'm at a bar. I'm I'm at a park. That's great. But we must get really, really super specific. What? I'm sorry, where? Where are you? I'm at Central Park, over by the pond, the duck pond. I'm sitting on a blanket. Okay, have the specific location in your mind. I'm at Monica's restaurant on the corner of 36th Street. And I'm sitting at the corner table by the window. Really picture this scene, and you're going to write that down. You're going to write down all the specifics about what you can see and where you are. And you're probably thinking, why are we being so specific about this? But if you're not, if you're vague at all, it's just not going to work. It's not going to be helpful for you. And you're going to find yourself in that limbo where you're like, I think I'm here, but maybe I'm there. No. Oh, wait, maybe it's this table. Have it all picked out. So that way you can just step into the scene, and you're going to write this down or type it out. Okay, so now you've got your who, you've got your what just happened, you've got your where. So we're building the scene. When, that's the next one. So we don't want to just say, in June. No, June 16th happens to be my birthday, June 16th. And we want to pick a year even and a time of day. So we want to be very specific. 2:00 in the afternoon, June 16th, 2020. I was sitting at Monica's Cafe on 36th Street in the corner booth by the window. You're picturing the scene. Suddenly I have a vivid picture of exactly where I am, exactly what time of day it is. There's sun coming in the window because it's 2:00. Okay, you're getting super specific here. Why are you singing the song? That's the next W. Why? So there's a reason why we sing a song. We have been spurred into song by what just happened. So why are we singing the song? What are we trying to accomplish? Let's go back to Let It Be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary said to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So the song to me, especially with the scene I've just created for you a minute ago, the song to me is about, hey, don't worry. Just let it be. It's going to be just fine. So you're kind of putting someone at ease, right? So that would be the why. By the end of the song, I want whoever I'm singing to feel like, okay, everything's going to be all right. So let's go back to my scene. It was I got in a car accident. I'm at a rugby game. My team had to play without me. And they're like, oh man, are you okay? And it sucks that you can't play. It's okay. Let it be. I'm here anyway. So by the end of the song, I want them to be like, okay, that's all right. Now, when you're using the reason why, we want to always win at the end. So we want to achieve our goal by the end of the song. And maybe occasionally we won't win, but for the most part, we want the song to end with us winning. So let's pick another song. We're going to go Broadway here. We're going to pick a song, Defying Gravity. Okay. So by the end of the song, the witch who's singing is flying in the sky and winning, right? In her mind. She is, I don't know if you're familiar with the musical, but this is how the witch became the witch in The Wizard of Oz. And she has this glorious moment at the end of the song, and we know, holy cow, like she is now the witch. She's flying and she's, lording her powers over everyone. Even though she's supposed to be, kind of the villain, she still gets to win. So even if we're playing a villain, we're going to win by the end of the song. So your why, that is what you're trying to accomplish by the end of the song. Okay. So now we have our who we're singing to. We have what just happened. We have where we are specifically. We have when, what time of day or night. What is the date? Is it this year? Is it 20 years ago? Is it in the future? We have to really be specific about the date and why. What are we trying to accomplish by the end of the song? And do we accomplish that? So we're starting to sketch a scene here. Now, when we're doing this, I've had students come to me and they're like, man, when I come in with the song, like Gloria, for example, that was a song a student brought to me one day. And it comes right in with Gloria, right off the bat. It's like 10, Gloria. And she's like, man, I'm having trouble getting the energy up to start the song that way. So we had to build the scene. How do you come in with a running start? You have to think 30 seconds before the song. Okay, so who's Gloria? Gloria. It turned out Gloria, for her, was an annoying coworker, somebody who just wouldn't stop talking. Somebody who was really messing things up at work because she talks so much. So finally, the student, we'll call her Jessica, she got so fed up with this woman that she had to interrupt her mid-speech. So her coworker's talking, blah, 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 Gloria! That was her entrance to the song. So you see how the 30 seconds before that really got her wheels turning. It got her energy up, and she was able to jump in with Gloria, like, oh my God, Gloria, be quiet. So that's what this is going to do for you. It's going to give you a sense of urgency coming into the song, connection. It's going to give you someone to sing to besides a wall or a bunch of the top of people's heads. Okay, it's going to get you really specific about what you're trying to accomplish by the end of the song. And I would say, if you have a choice, which you do because you're being creative here, make the stakes as dangerous as possible. So, going back to our Gloria song, if we imagine Gloria as a friend of ours at a party, and you saw there was a loose railing, she was leaning on a railing, you saw it from a distance across the room, and you knew like any second this railing was going to break, the way you say Gloria might be a little different than if you're just saying, hey, Gloria, or hey, Gloria, stop talking. It would be, Gloria! Oh my goodness, you're about to fall off the edge there. Okay, you see how putting yourself in danger suddenly makes things a little more urgent. And we need that sometimes in songs, and we have trouble mustering that up from nowhere, right? Because we just start singing when the intro's done. So we need to start thinking about these things beforehand and planning them out so that when we come in with Gloria, it's urgent, right? It's vital for Gloria's survival here. If we don't yell across the room to Gloria, she might fall off that ledge, right? Off the railing and go tumbling down 3 stories. So that's going to feel very different than just singing to a wall. Okay. And I know a lot of you in your form, you tick the box that talked about performing, right? You want to perform live. So when we have these kinds of scenes set up for ourselves, it does 2 things. First of all, it keeps us engaged, right? It keeps us alive within the song. It brings the lyrics to life, makes things more interesting for us. It also makes things more interesting for those who are watching because they know you're connected. And if you've never felt this before, watch it when somebody starts crying, right? Suddenly we feel like choked up. We're like, "Oh my goodness, I don't even know why they're crying, but I feel like I could cry now." You're connecting with their emotion. It's the same when we're singing, whether we're feeling joy, whether we're laughing, whether we're crying or feeling sad, the audience connects with that, your emotion. And suddenly they're right there with you, as opposed to you singing perfectly in tune, staring off into space, hoping everything goes well. People might still connect with you because they love the sound of your voice, but they're not going to feel that emotional exchange as they would if you're doing something like this. Okay. There's another thing that this does for you. This creates a force field around you. Okay. So instead of me going up there as Janine, shy Janine, right, standing on a stage and everyone's looking at you, now you're going to sing and they're like, I hope this girl's good, right? And you're feeling the judgment, even though it might not be there, but you're feeling judged, you're feeling under pressure. Suddenly, when you step into your scene, and I picture whoever I'm picturing back there, and I picture the 30 seconds of what just happened and why I'm singing this song and where I am. It's like a movie in my mind playing, and suddenly it's a force field. So it's not just me anymore. It's me talking to my scene partner, delivering an urgent message, right? So if I'm getting up on stage and I have to sing Gloria, for example, I might be like, whew, we got to come in on a 10 here. I'm picturing the 30 seconds before that, my friend, Gloria, hanging on the railing. It's about to fall, and she's going to go tumbling down 3 stories. Gloria! Suddenly it's like, whoa. And the audience is like, oh my goodness, that's urgent. Yes, it's urgent. Yes, they feel it. I feel it. And suddenly we're all in this scene together that I've just created. It's a force field, it combats nerves. So I know a lot of us struggle with stage fright. I remember the first time I had a solo in high school with my choir, and I was so nervous. My lip was quivering uncontrollably. I had no control over my bodily functions. My lip was quivering, my knees were trembling, my hands would shake. Physical terror, right? I sang anyway, but it was really hard. And I thought after that, I was like, I don't know if I can do that again. It was physically terrifying. So when you have something like this set up and practiced, it's a force field. It's going to really connect you with your material in a way that it's not just Janine getting in front of her school, singing a solo, and then sitting down. It's Janine delivering a message to her scene partner who's right over the tops of these people's heads. And it's urgent, right? Very, very different feeling. And suddenly, you're not going to care so much what people think. You're not going to monitor so much. Am I singing correctly? Am I singing well? Because at that point, we just want to let it go and sing, right? We don't want to think about technique anymore when we're performing. We just want to be in the moment. So it's going to silence those critical voices that are like, oh, you botched that note up. Oh, you better breathe here. Oh, you better do this. Like, oh, here comes the high part. All those things that go on while we're singing. Suddenly we're going to be able to be in the moment. And you'll find when you're in the moment and when you're in the scene that suddenly your singing is so much easier. We make it so hard for ourselves. We really do. We psych ourselves out, and the more we think about things, sometimes the more tension we create, especially if high notes coming. I know that's a form of a lot of anxiety for people, knowing, okay, here it comes. Oh, it's coming in the next. Oh, here comes that high note. But if we can just take ourselves out of our head and put ourselves somewhere else, suddenly the high note will come and you'll be like, oh man, I was so in my scene. I didn't even think about that high note and it just came right out. Holy cow. That's because you got out of your own way. Okay. And like I told you, day one, a lot of singing is mental work, right? This is part of the mental work as well. The mental preparation is setting ourselves up so that we have something to live into when we're singing this song. And I know it takes time. It takes some work. It requires some thought and creativity and planning. And when you're practicing, you definitely want to practice implementing these things, right? So that's going to take a little time too. And sometimes you're going to feel like, man, I'm just having trouble picturing all this stuff, right? It's okay. You just break it down section by section. So we might start with Gloria. Don't you think you're calling? Don't you think you're falling? What is that first line? I think it's, don't you think you're falling? Gloria. So I might just take a minute and like, okay, what am I picturing there? What's happening? Why am I singing this? Who am I singing it to? Image. We're just playing a movie in our mind. We have to break it down section by section so that we really get specific through the whole movie, through the whole song. Okay. And for those of you who are interested in theater, this is so important for auditions. So important for many reasons. First of all, auditions are nerve-wracking, right? We have 2 or 3 or 5 people sitting at a table staring at us like, go ahead and press me. And we have to just open our mouth and sing for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe a little longer, and really wow them. And, you know, they can tell in the first 10 seconds, they say. They can tell sometimes when you walk in the room if you're the right fit. So we really want to make sure that our force field is up. We have our scene partner. We know what just happened. We've placed them above the auditors' heads. We start out in the middle of the conversation. Instead of Gloria, we're like, oh crap, Gloria's going to fall off the edge there. Gloria! And the auditors are like, whoa, okay, great. Here we go. All right, guys. So I really want you to take this on board. So that brings us to homework assignment number 1. Homework assignment number 1 is to pick a song, any song that you feel like you want to work on. It might be the same one you were working on yesterday. I told you to pick a song that was challenging for you, right? And start at the most challenging part. So pick a song, any song. You're going to get the lyrics for the song. And hopefully you have a printer at home. I'm just looking at my printer. It's right over there. Hopefully you have a printer. If you don't, you can write out the lyrics, but you're going to space them out. Okay? You're going to write the lyrics just as sentences instead of line by line. You know, we have, Gloria, don't you think you're calling? If anybody wants you, why doesn't anybody call you? You're going to just put it sentence form. So as if you were reading a story. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary said to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Connect all those words. Good. Put a little space between each line so that you have room to write in there. You're going to write in specific mental images that are happening during each line. Okay. Then you're going to do your who, what, where, when, why. Just start out with one. Start out with who. Who. And by the time you get to the end of this, who, what, where, when, and why, you might have to go back and change the who. Maybe you're like, you know what, after thinking about all this, after writing it all out, my who is a little different now. I think I want to pick somebody else. Or maybe a different where. Maybe the where is not working. No problem. This is all a work in progress. So I just want you to spend some time on that. Get your lyrics all written out. Pick some mental images. Go through your who, what, where, when, and why. Okay. Then I want you to start this week. So this is going to take a little time, so you don't have to do it all in one day. This week, after you've done all that, you're going to start practicing your song section by section and incorporating everything you've just created around this song. Okay? Great. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can post what song you're doing in the group chat in Facebook, the Facebook group. If you want to run anything by me, put it in the Facebook group, and I'd be happy to look it over and suggest things if you need that. But I'm sure the group would love to see what you're working on. Excellent. Okay, so hopefully that clears things up as far as singing, connecting to the lyric, performing. This is all going to be very helpful for all those things. And also practicing. It's going to make your practice more fun and interesting. Excellent. So there's one other thing I wanted to touch on really quickly. Many of you in your forums also said you were interested in writing music. And I'm sure you guys are at all different levels as far as, maybe some of you have written songs already. Maybe you don't play an instrument and you're thinking, how could I possibly even write a song? How would I go about doing that? So I'm just going to give you like a really quick songwriting 101 so that you can start writing a song today. Okay? And if you already know this, great. We're just going to brush up on these skills. And if you don't, this is going to be really good information for you because, writing songs, it's a really great way to express yourself. If you're singing, you might as well put your own music out there and, use your voice to deliver whatever message it is you want to get out to the world. So I've played around with this. I do play an instrument. I play the guitar and I play some piano. But sometimes you want to get out of your comfort zone or create something that's not music that you've written. Okay. I find as a musician, when I go to write a song, sometimes I tinker around with the same chords and I think, man, I just need some fresh ideas. So where do I go? This is something I've actually done a few times. I'm just going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you what I do here. One second. Okay. If you guys are anything like me, do you live with multiple tabs open? I know I do. Okay, so here we are on Google. We're just going to go to YouTube, one of my favorite resources. And we are going to search. Now, there's many people who just put what they call beats online, and some of them are free. You can use them. Some of them you have to pay maybe $30 or $10 for the track to use it. But many of them are free, and they make beats or accompaniment tracks for songs with no lyrics. So people like you and I can go listen to these songs and we can put lyrics to it and record with these tracks. They're already created. So it's somebody already wrote the music. They're just waiting for lyrics. So I love this stuff. We can, one person that I've used before is Pacific Beats. So I might start here. right? Pacific Beats, they put all kinds of stuff up. Dua Lipa type beat anywhere. So they've based it on a song. It's not exactly that song, but it sounds like that style. Smooth guitar beat. We have another smooth guitar beat. A chill guitar beat vibe. A moody guitar beat. A lot of guitar beats, which is nice because I like, guitar driven music. So let's just go back up. We're going to just listen to the first one. That's kind of cool. Now I might listen enough to know, are any lyrics coming to me? Is there any theme that comes to my mind when I'm hearing it? Any words that really pop into my head while I'm listening to this beat? And really, your best bet is to go with your first instinct, because I feel like I'm going to stop the share for a second. I feel like there is a stream of creativity consciousness. And I know this is going to sound a little woo-woo, but trust me, there is a stream of creativity consciousness. And if we can just tap into that, we get ideas. And a lot of times the stupid conscious mind will judge that idea, right? And like, oh, that's stupid. Oh, that's ridiculous. No, we can't make a song out of that. Try to just silence that voice while you're doing this and go with your first instincts. Just write some ideas down, okay? You're going to get lots of sparks of ideas, and you want to just go with those. Those are the easiest ones to follow. Those are the songs that basically write themselves because you're in the flow of creativity. You're not listening to that judgy, negative voice that doesn't want you to do anything, right? We're going like, just get in the flow. Okay, and maybe let's go back to our YouTube. Maybe that first song, you're like, I don't know, doesn't do anything for me. This doesn't inspire me at all. So let's go down again. Let's just check another one. Very cool, kind of bluesy. Ooh, I'm getting ideas already, right? So let's just go back. I haven't heard these songs before, by the way. I did the last one, but this one, okay. Okay, so what's coming into my mind is, baby, why you treat me mean? Don't ask me, I don't know. I'm trying not to judge. Here we go. I'll show you my idea. Baby, why you treat me mean? Okay. There's the opening. I just made that up right off the cuff. So this is a track I might either make a note like smooth guitar beat, moody, Pacific, or I might just say, you know what? I'm going to stop right here. I'm just going to go with this one, and I'm going to write a song. And generally, when you go, like I said, with just the stream, the flow, you get an idea. Don't judge it. You might not know where the heck this is coming from. Baby, why you treat me mean? I don't know where that came from. It just came into my head. Don't worry about that. Just write it down. Flesh out the song. Try to just follow your instincts. If you get stuck on a part, just skip over that part, and you can always come back to it later. And a lot of times, by the time we get to, the middle or the end of the song, when we go back to that part that we were stuck on, it'll come to us. There's been times though where that's not happened, right? I'm like, this middle part, I can't get it. I cannot get it. So I might get up, go do some dishes. I might go for a walk. I might just cook some food, right? And suddenly the idea will come to me, that specific section, it'll just pop into my brain when I go do something else. Okay, so being creative and writing music is a lot about just allowing, getting into the flow, and sometimes it means taking a break and just going and doing something else that doesn't require much thought, so you can let those thoughts flow in, take the pressure off a little bit. You're not sitting in a chair like with a pen waiting for the lyric to come. You're just doing something else. Okay, so Nate, let's go back to this song here. I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay, so we got Baby, Why You Treat Me Mean. Here we go. Baby, why you treat me mean? Okay, so we got Baby, Why You Treat Me Mean. Now, mean is a pretty easy word to rhyme with, but let's just say we don't want a traditional word for me, that rhymes with mean. Sometimes mean, we can predict what the next rhyme will be in a lot of songs, like mean. I guess that's not that common. Scene. But let's just say we're stuck on the word mean and we want to find a word that rhymes with that so we can build the next line. Let's go to mean rhyming words. There you go. Okay, good. Now look, we got all kinds of resources here. Gene, I hadn't thought of that. Screen, clean, scene, all rhymes for me. Let's go to this one. I just want to see some more. Bean, okay, I would say Ben, but scene, between. I like that. Machine. So look, we've got all these rhyming words for mean. Holy cow. 18. Dean. So let's pick one. Let's pick caffeine. I love it. Cuisine. This is a great word. I'm going to use this in my next song. Preteen. Philippine. Okay. Good Lord, they just keep going. Ooh, oh, I know. Okay, so back up here. Between. Actually, the first word, I kind of like that one. Between. Maybe Ben. Okay, so, baby, why you treat me mean? Why you cause a scene? That might be cool. It's a little cliche, but maybe cool. Baby, why you treat me mean? Why you cause a scene? Okay, well, let's try it out. Why you cause a scene? Well, let's start from the beginning. Here we go. Baby, why you treat me mean? Why you cause a scene? Hey, that works. I like it. You know what? I might leave it there for now. And then after I finish the next section, I would maybe come back to that if I wanted to rewrite that. But most often, even if I go back and I'm like, okay, I got to make that rhyme better, I got to make that line better, I usually end up just going with what I first wrote. You might go all the way around in a circle and then you're like, you know what, I just like the simplicity of why you cause a scene. So that's just a little insight into the process of songwriting. If you don't play an instrument, even if you do, I play an instrument, right? But I just want, I would never write anything like that on guitar myself. That's not how I play. So it helps to get a fresh perspective, fresh ideas, collaboration with somebody without the effort, the time finding who you're going to collaborate with. Okay, let's talk about the music, them setting you ideas. It just eliminates all that. And that's fun too. You know, that's another way to do it. But this way, the song's already there. The track is already written. It's just waiting for your lyrics. Okay. So you go through the song section by section, just like that. And sometimes maybe you go a little farther in and you get the idea for the chorus part. The chorus repeats several times, so that's really important to make it catchy and easy for people to remember. So maybe you start there instead. You can learn all the rules about songwriting, but there really aren't rules. I mean, rules are great. You don't have to rhyme. You know, that's a rule that people break all the time. Verse, chorus, you know, that's a rule, but people break that rule all the time. So it's best to just go with whatever the creativity and the flow is telling you to do. Just do it. And sometimes we have these, for me anyway, I feel like stupid songs come into my head. You know, I'm like, I don't like this song at all. It's stupid. It's cheesy. Oh my goodness. The voice is like, blah, 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 blah. It's cheesy. Don't put that out there. Don't write that down. That is a dumb idea. Please shut that voice up. Do it anyway. Write it down. Get that idea out. Sometimes we must get those ideas out before we can get to the next idea. We have to get these, it's like asking for creativity, right? And then saying, oh, but not that. Mm-mm. Oh, I want money, but no, not in that form. It has to be this way. So we want that creativity to come and flow through us, right? Sometimes the ideas are going to be, and we're like, that's ridiculous. Why would I ever think? Where did that come from? Just follow through with it, flesh it out, write it down, complete it, and then you can choose what to do with it when you're done. Many, many, many times the songs I think are the cheesiest and the, quirkiest. And I'm like, where did that come from? Those songs are the ones people come up to you later and they're like, man, I really like that song. That was really cool. And you're like, wow, who knew? Maybe there's a reason why. I'm sorry, I just defocused the camera. Maybe there's a reason why this idea is coming to you. Okay? So when we ask for the creativity to flow to come, we're not going to judge it. We are just going to let it come through. We're going to complete that idea. We're going to write that song, whether we think it's dumb or not, whether we think it's going to sell 1 million copies or not, whether we think people are going to like it or not, whether we like it or not, doesn't matter. What matters is getting the idea fleshed out, completing it, and then we can decide what to do with it. Okay? My favorite songs that I personally have written are the ones that come so quickly, and many of them I'm like, where in God's name did that come from? I have no idea. It just came, right? I didn't judge it. I'm sure I judged it, but I did it anyway. And some of them I've even recorded and released, and some of them even people have said, that's a cool song. Where'd you get that idea? I don't know. A couple of the most recent songs that I've recorded have come to me as I was drifting off to sleep at night. So I will be laying there, and this has happened many times, laying there just on the brink of sleep, and a melody will pop into my head, and sometimes even lyrics. And there's times when you're like, oh man, I'm just so tired, I have to ignore that. right? But there's been many times where I pop up out of bed, I grab my phone, I record the idea into my phone, put it down, and then I go to sleep. And then the next day I listen to it and I'm like, that's a cool idea. I'm going to flesh that out. First, I think, have I heard that somewhere before? Is it me just regurgitating something I've heard on the radio? Or is this an original idea? And when I assess that it is indeed original, then I will continue to flesh it out. So a song I wrote a few months back called Bring the Love Back. It's a duet that I recorded here in Nashville. And you can find it on my website if you want to listen to it. I was drifting off. I was just on the brink of sleep. And this idea came into my head. Da-da-da-da, bring the love back. It just over and over again to the point where I couldn't ignore it. So I got up, I recorded it into my phone. I laid back down, I went to sleep. The next morning I had an acupuncture appointment. So I was walking down the street. It was in the middle of winter, like February, I think, this year. And I listened to it and I was like, And then the verses started coming to me on the street, walking, just recording ideas for verses into my phone. And then I got home and I started writing it all down, and I played around a little with the verses. The chorus was already there. I got it in the middle of the night. And so then I sent it to my friend. I did a rough demo of it and I sent it to my friend. I'm like, hey, J Mark, do you want to record this as a duet? And he's like, oh my God, this song. Wow, it's so catchy. And I was like, really? You like it? Like, this hasn't been done before, right? This is, and it was just the weirdest thing. But those are the times when we're really connected to the stream of inspiration and creativity, when we just go with the flow and let ideas come out and record them, and then we can revisit them later and decide, can this be a song? Those are the ones I feel like it's not really us writing the song, right? It's something else, some creativity stream, what I talked about earlier, that we've tapped into, and they're like, hey, you want an idea? Here you go. What are you going to do with that? You're going to go to sleep, or are you going to get up and record it quickly into your phone? Here you go. You're walking down the street. You got an idea. You're going to record that, or you're going to let it just fleet out, give it to somebody else, I really feel like that's how it works. So let's go back now to recording. We're going to have a homework assignment on this. I want you to go on to YouTube. If you want to pick Pacific Beats, I have no affiliation with Pacific Beats. It's just somebody I've used before. There's many, many others. You can just look up free beats. You're going to go onto YouTube. You're going to find, you're going to listen to some of those accompaniment tracks, instrumentals. You're going to find one that speaks to you immediately. It's going to happen. You're going to get some ideas. You're going to find one. And I want you to write a song. Okay? Isn't that fun? And I don't want you to judge it. And I don't want you to overthink it. I just want you to see what you can do with a flow of creativity, a stream of consciousness. Okay? We're going to work on tapping into that creative flow and allowing it to come through us. So that means, number one, if an idea pops into your head, you might be in a bar. You might be in a movie theater. That's not really happening right now. You might be walking down the street. You might be on the verge of sleep. You might be in the shower. You're going to stop what you're doing, get your phone out, record it, or write it down. But most importantly, record it because you want to hear the melody. And you're going to stay in that flow of creativity. If you get stuck on a particular section of that song, just skip it and continue on till you get to the end. And then revisit the middle or whatever part you were having trouble with, okay? If it's, really racking your brain, get up and do something else. Go for a walk. Go do some dishes. Cook some food. Call a friend. Do something. I would say something that's by yourself is better, because then you're going to be allowing those ideas to come. But they can come to you anywhere. And then you're going to finish the song out, all right? What do you think? You ready? Are you ready to take this on? I think you are. Awesome. Okay. If you're feeling really, really ambitious, I want you to record a rough demo of it. And that could be just you playing the YouTube track on your computer, recording you singing to that track on your phone. That's a rough demo. It's an idea, it's a sketch, it's your song in raw form. We all do it just to send somebody an idea, right? And say, hey, what do you think of this? Or, hey, I want to record this. Here's how it goes, basically. They're not meant to be perfect. They're not meant to be something we release into the world on YouTube or anything like that for the public to hear. It's just for you and whoever you're sharing that with to hear the idea. Okay. So I want you to create a rough demo of the song. Okay. Excellent. I think that's plenty of homework for you guys for today. And we covered, again, a lot of ground, but hopefully you got some really great songwriting ideas, and this will, inspire many songs for you. Great. So I just want to go over a few other things with you today. So we talked yesterday about money mindset, right? And we talked about investing in your career. And we talked about the fact that I've had coaches for the past several years. I still have coaches. I have people that I invest in, people that cost a lot of money, more than what I'm comfortable with. And I see the value in that because they are far beyond where I am, and they can stretch me and guide me to the next place. And I know that when I invest money in myself, number one, if it's an uncomfortable amount of money, I show up differently. I show up, I do the work with a sense of urgency because I have invested a considerable amount of money in myself and in this person and in this course. Okay. I show up differently. My teacher shows up because they know I'm taking it seriously. I just invested this much money in this course or coaching or whatever it is they offer. So they're there in a big way for me. Okay. Also, we're taking a look at the outcome, not the monetary investment. That is like a last consideration, because we really want to think about where we want to be. I want to be a confident singer who's got songs out in the world, who's performing regularly, making a living singing. Some of you said, right? So how do you get here? We can spin our wheels on YouTube or, wait for something, or we get involved, we jump in, we commit, we take the action, okay? We invest time, we invest money, and then we end up here, the glorious singer we want to be, who's earning a living from music. Okay. So let's take a look at what I'm offering. Share screen. Here we go. Going back to YouTube. Now we're going to go here, and I'm going to do a share. Nope, I'm going to do a present. Okay. Whoops. Okay. What am I doing? Here we go. Get your voice together, Singer's Blueprint Challenge. So the Singer's Blueprint. So you've heard this term, this whole challenge, the Singer's Blueprint. What is the Singer's Blueprint? So the Singer's Blueprint is a 10-week online coaching course. It's a live coaching that happens in a Facebook group. We meet once a week and we cover a different topic every week. And it's group coaching, which I know we've talked about and you haven't gotten to witness here because We had no volunteers, which is fine. But we work one-on-one in front of a group. So the groups are small, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm going to be lost in the group. Don't worry about that. There's a cap to the group so that everyone gets a chance to get coached on the coaching session, and everyone else watches while the others are being coached. This is a great way to learn, because sometimes we have to watch the mistakes other people are making to realize we're making them ourselves, right? You're looking at someone, you're like, oh man, they need to open their mouth. And then you realize, holy cow, I haven't been opening my mouth either. So I need to do that. Let me write that down, or let me just take that in. Or sometimes we hear something, I say, sing up and out the front of the face, right? You might be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But then when you hear the difference in somebody's voice that's being coached, you might think, ah, I know why she's saying that now. Or when we're talking about belting, right? And we said, hey, hey. And I said, bring it down from a 10 to a 5. And you're like, what the heck does that mean? And I work through that with someone. Suddenly you're like, I hear the difference. I hear the distortion on 10. Let me take it down to a 5 when I'm doing it. So group coaching is an excellent way to learn. So with the Singer's Blueprint, you get 10 weeks of online group coaching. We meet once a week, okay? There's a different topic that happens every week, and we're going to get to that. You learn techniques to help hit high notes, low notes. Some people have trouble hitting low notes. We help ease vocal strain with certain techniques, vocal tension. We talk about breath control and breathing, very important as singers to have breath control. I'm just going to take a sip of water here. We go over low impact vocal warm-ups. So you got vocal warm-ups 1. We have vocal warm-ups that target specific problems and build up the strength of the voice, okay? We covered belting, but we're going to get really in deep with belting. We're going to do a deep dive, and we're going to do group coaching on how to belt properly without stressing out the vocal cords. So we're going to get really specific in this course. We're going to talk about ways to spice up the vocals. Now, we talked about one way today, and that was the who, what, where, when, and why. But we're going to go over other ways, other tools and tricks you can have in your singer's tool belt to keep your sound interesting, to add things to spice it up and give it a little sparkle, and to give your voice variety and individuality. So we want to, be distinct. We want when we come on the radio or when someone hears our voice that, oh, that's Janine. Oh, that's so-and-so, because we have that certain interesting, distinct sound. Okay. We're also going to cover riffs. Right? We're going to talk about riffs. Some of you have trouble riffing, and we're going to break it down slowly so that you can start riffing and putting those into your song if you'd like to add those. We're going to go over interpreting songs, which we covered a lot of today, but we're going to do a deep dive, and we're going to practice that in front of each other, right? And get really specific. How to write music. We scratched the surface today. We're going to do an even deeper dive on writing music and where most people get stuck and how to overcome those obstacles. Okay, what do you do with your music once you've written it? The recording studio, what to look for, how to record at home. Many people are doing home recordings and they sound great. So we're going to go over how to do that. Booking gigs. A lot of you said you want to play live. You want to be earning money, singing. We're going to be going over how to book gigs, how to talk to the sound guy. We want to make the sound guy our friend, right? Because he's in control of what we sound like all night. How to talk to the band if you have a band, okay? How to handle yourself on stage, what to say and what not to say from the stage. And we're going to get you playing live, okay? So part of this module is going to be some live singing. actually happening by you. Okay. And we're going to break that down so that you can get you out there singing and playing. We have weekly assignments as well as a daily log to practice and track our time practicing. And you're going to be accountable. Okay. This is all great stuff to really, really, really spur you forward, jumpstart your singing career, and get you in a place where you're performing music, making money, gigging, recording, releasing music, all that stuff. Okay? That is the Singer's Blueprint. Okay, so what you get is 10 weeks of the Singer's Blueprint online, live group coaching and training. So we meet once a week, group coaching. We also have a Facebook group where we all interact in the meantime, and we post homework, we post videos of us singing. If you have questions or problems that come up, that's all happening in the Facebook group. You have access to that group for 1 year. You also get a one-on-one hour-long session with me. And this is, like a private lesson where we make sure before you jump into this course that number one, you're ready for it. Number two, we're going to just give you some techniques and tips that are going to help you get started. And, everyone's got specific things that they struggle with, right? So I really want to know what those things are and get you on a path to solving those problems before you even get in the group so that you're getting your specific needs met. You're going to get 7 different warm-up series, and they progressively get harder, so that way you can keep stretching your voice and building that muscle. You're going to get practice logs, an accountability partner. Haha. Some people are going to love that, and some people are going to hate that. But if we're not accountable, sometimes it means we don't do the work, right? So you're going to get an accountability partner. The great thing about what I'm offering right now is that if at the end of the 10 weeks you feel like, oh man, that was great, it went by so quick, I want to do that again. If you sign up today, you can repeat it again. Holy cow, for free. That's right. You heard correctly. So if you get to the end and you're like, you know what, I want to do that again, that was great, you get to do it again. How cool is that? So, oops, I meant to tell you. Now, normally this course goes for $2,500, okay? That's what I usually offer it for. And believe me, it's really nothing when it comes to your career, especially if, like I said, at the end of this, if next year you were looking back and you said, man, I invested $2,500, but I'm singing live now. I have recordings, I've written songs, I'm gigging, I'm making money. I feel confident in my voice. Would that $2,500 be worth it? I would say, heck yeah. However, today, since you guys participated in the challenge, it's only $1,000 for you. $1,000 for a 10-week program if you do it in 2 installments. If you wanted to pay it all today on a credit card, like I said, most of my training I paid for on a credit card. We don't have that kind of cash laying around, right? If you want to do it one payment, $900, I'm going to take $100 off for anyone who just says, you know what, I'm in, here's my 900. Great. So that's the Singer's Blueprint. Now, because of COVID, I've lowered the price here. But I know even that can be a lot for some people, right? And maybe you still want to get started, but you're like, ooh, $1,000. I lost my job or whatever it is that's happened here. I'm offering a Singer's Blueprint Lite, okay? It's slightly different from the Singer's Blueprint. You'll get 5 weeks. So it's kind of a modified course. You'll get a little less of the training than what I described above, but you're still going to get 5 weeks of the online live group coaching, okay? You're going to get access to the Facebook group for 6 months. So you'll have that resource available to you even after your 5 weeks of training is over. You're going to get 7 different warm-up series, and you're going to get the practice logs and accountability, just like you did in the other group, okay? You don't get the one-on-one session here, but you do get the 5 weeks of coaching with the group and access to the Facebook group for 6 months. Okay. So this is the light version. This is for those of you who want to get started, but you just can't invest $1,000 right now. So that's going to be $500 if you do 2 payments. If you do them 1 payment, it's $450. Okay. Now, these offers are going to close a week from today. So we have groups starting soon, and these offers are only going to be valid for the next upcoming week. I have set up times to follow up with you guys and to see, if you had any challenges, any questions, anything that you want to talk to me about after this challenge completes. I'm going to be sending you links today in your email about a follow-up call that we get to have together. It's a 30-minute call, and you can schedule a time with me next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So if you'd like to sign up for one of these, the Singer's Blueprint or the Singer's Blueprint Light, you don't have to wait till that call. You can just send me an email saying, Janine, I'm in. I'll say, great, let's get started. Awesome. But if you have any questions and you want to talk it over, we can talk about that when you schedule your call. So you will have to schedule this call with me. I'm going to send you a link with available times to schedule the call. Even if you don't think you're ready to sign up for either of these courses right now, I would suggest schedule the call anyway. We can talk about what came up for you during the challenge and ways I can help you before you even sign up for either of these groups. Okay? Okay, you guys, so I just want to do a quick recap for you of what we've learned over the last 3 days. It has been a whirlwind for me, and I'm sure for you as well, right? So day 1, we talked about mindset. We talked about how to get the mind set up for our success, set up for us to be a powerful, confident singer. So we have to picture that first and live into it. And we talked about visualizing our success, imagining. And part of your homework was to spend 5 minutes each day. I hope you'll continue to do that. Also, we talked about warming up the voice, right? Getting it ready to sing. And I hope you're taking that on. If you haven't done the warm-ups yet, get them out as soon as we finish here. So you're going to continue to do that even after this challenge completes, okay? We talked about setting goals. So if you haven't set your goals yet, set your goals. You're going to put it in your calendar. Because if you just set a goal and say, I want to warm up 4 times next week, great. Where is it in your calendar? You must pick a specific date and time for those things to happen. Otherwise, guess what? They don't. If we wait for spare time, this isn't a spare time activity. This is a scheduled, planned event that we want to show up for. Okay, great. We talked about vocal health. Yes, keeping everything nice and healthy. How we can treat our body and our voice well so that when we go to sing, it's there for us every time. We talked about times to see a doctor. There's times when you're like, I'm not vocally well, and I probably shouldn't be singing. We talked about those times as well. Great. Yesterday, we talked a lot about singing with power, how to do that. We really got specific on belting and how to sing with power and using the fullness of our voice and how it should feel easy and good and like a release. And we talked about the different styles of singing: head voice, chest voice, mixed voice, right? We also talked about the importance and the value of getting a coach and investing money in ourselves and our money mindset. So we don't want to be stopped by money. We don't want to be stopped from living our full potential, our soul's purpose, by saying we have a lack of money. and I suggest the book to you, Feel Free to Prosper. It is a great resource. It is something that's going to really help your money mindset and help you to be able to change that. And instead of having a coffee cup for an abundance vessel, we're going to have a bathtub or a swimming pool or even the ocean, because abundance is limitless, right? We talked about that. Great. You had some homework, and that was to pick a challenging song and start at the hardest part of the song and practice just that section. Great. We also went over today how to connect with your audience, how to connect yourself to your lyrics, how to create a force field around yourself and build a scene so that when you get out there to sing in front of people or when you're practicing, you're engaged, they're engaged, you're connected with your lyrics, and suddenly it's not just Janine, singer, performing for these people who are judging me. It is Janine here to deliver a message to my scene partner that's urgent. Okay. We also talked about writing music, and we started writing a little song here. We talked about the flow of creativity, tapping into that and how to rhyme words if you can't think of one. You also got an assignment to pick a beat or an instrumental track and write a song of your own and create a demo for it. Excellent. So, congratulations. This is the completion of our time here, but please complete the homework. Schedule a follow-up call with me. We will talk over how this challenge went for you and what you came up against, good, bad, or otherwise. And also, if you're ready to jump in on the Singer's Blueprint or the Singer's Blueprint Light, just send me a message back saying, Janine, I'm in, let's get started. Guys, I love you. I wish you all the success in life. If there's any way I can help you, please let me know. I'm here for you. I'm in the trenches with you. I've had so much fun with this challenge. I hope you have too. And I wish you many blessings. Love you guys.